Check it out right now. So we've got a tropical storm in the Caribbean here in early November, and this can happen. And tropical season extends until November the 30th. The good news is, as this moves into the Gulf, it may be a hurricane, but it will weaken once it gets into the northern Gulf, as it will be encountering some dry air, some shear, and some cooler water temperatures. Here's a look at it, a kind of a 3D look at the system here, and it is definitely getting better organized. So what will we see locally? Well, we've had bad surf conditions at the beaches for over a week. That is likely going to continue through the weekend. So it's just way rough out there in the Gulf, and it could be enhanced by Rafael some. Our rain chances, will they go up? We've got them up slightly for Saturday and Sunday, but it's not a big deal based on what we're seeing right now. Those chances would go higher if it was to come more towards us. There's a lot of uncertainties in the forecast in the long range, but we think that through Thursday we've got it pegged to be in the Gulf of Mexico. Right now it's in the Caribbean. It is now a hurricane. We've got Hurricane Rafael, so it just upgraded to a hurricane. Winds at 75, and the motion northwest at 15, pressure 986, and we expect it to maintain itself as a hurricane, perhaps stronger, crossing Cuba, entering the Gulf of Mexico over the warm loop current, and then exiting the loop current and starting to run into a wall of dry air and wind shear and cooler sea surface temperatures. And note the winds, they go from 75 to 60 to 45. So if it was to come our way, it may be a very weak tropical storm. It may not even be a tropical system once it comes ashore across the northern Gulf Coast. Here's a look at it. As of tomorrow around 5 p.m. over western Cuba, this is on the GFS model. It wobbles it westward as this ridge gets a little stronger off to the east and pushes it into the central Gulf on Friday at noon, and that's where it about runs out of warm water, and we start to see the colors change on what the futurecast is representing as to what the radar would look like. You can still see the circulation. It's dry on the west side and still moist on the east side, so we could see some rain out of this. This is showing up on the futurecast version of it through Sunday. The models are all pretty much in the same spot through Friday morning, and then they kind of go all over the place because we don't know how strong the system's going to be. We're not exactly sure how strong this high pressure ridge will be, but if it gets out on the edge of the ridge, it could kind of turn our way. That'll be something to watch out for, but some models bring it towards Mexico. Others bring it into southeast Louisiana. There's getting to be a tighter grouping right in through here with what happens with Rafael. The dry air, it's not just this here, but this here where we have the higher jet stream winds too. A lot of dry air over Texas. That continental air is likely going to get pushed into the system down the road. Water temperatures, as it crosses out of the central Gulf, it moves out of the 80-degree stuff, and we start to get into the upper 70s with the water temperatures where you see it in orange, and so that's going to be a limiting factor too for Rafael. Wind shear will also potentially rip this thing apart, and it's very strong to the northwest. And on Saturday, we have it encountering an area. It goes from a low wind shear environment to a moderate to high wind shear environment, and that will likely weaken the system. Now, the remainder of the voting, it looks like polls just closing here, I believe, at 7 o'clock. We are still seeing some showers out there affecting your evening in Mobile. We've got rain working through town. We've got more out over the bay moving in. This could really make some yards happy. Good night to stay inside and watch election coverage on our Fox 10 Gulf stream. We'll have more updates on the forecast as we go through time.